Uh, oh man, we're live now. Bloody hell, who hit that button?
Had to happen sometime.
Yeah, I suppose. How you going, Steve? Thanks for waiting around so long.
I've been nominated to read out who's in the chat. So we've got Steve Coombs, Steve C, S Coombs, and SC.
There you go.
Hey, that's cool. I like that.
Hey, Steve. If you're still there,
You dropped out then, Jay.
oh, all right. I'll just do this. This is just the easiest way to talk sometimes.
Yeah. Come and join us,
That's what I was saying.
I think what
So,
Jay was
Robbo,
saying is
if you're
he's going to put the
finished,
link in the chat.
thank you, Mark. Thanks for interpreting that. Blah, blah, blah.
Thing.
Bleep, bleep, bleep. All right, so
Nice and relaxed there, Sarge.
Yeah. It was a short day, but then I get home and it's a circus. I love my family, but I don't know. Sometimes I like being by myself.
Yep.
Well, I gotta go open the window or something.
did you let one rip?
Oh, yeah.
Chuck us to the side, Jay.
Sorry?
Chuck us to the side.
Why's that?
That's better.
Because it's your show.
Oh, that's not cool.
Nobody wants to see us, mugs.
I'm waiting for so not Robbo, not saying you have to rush over and do it right this millisecond. I'll point it down at the wood. What are you gonna look at my head for? Jesus. Even I have to look in the mirror and that and go, ugh.
So, Mark, did you see his sanded boob?
I'll take it out and show you.
Yeah. It's
Polished boob.
It's impressive.
It's better than his blown up bottle.
Dear Lord, that's a handful.
It's hard to see the grain in it, but I polished it a little bit just so we could see the.
Still really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that red gum? Red post?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's nice wood on the inside altogether. Really, it's a lot darker red than that piece I had for the bowl. I can only assume that it comes down to being aged.
Bring it up, baby.
So, Mark, if it doesn't annoy you too much to talk about it, what were you going to make tonight? Or your night?
I was only going to do a simple Harry Potter magic wand.
Okay.
with a skew.
Yep.
And I was going to do a Q&A session afterwards about the conversion of my banjo on my
Oh,
lathe.
yeah, that's right. Yes.
Because I've had 3 or 4 people ask about that.
Yep.
But I cut up 3 spindles this morning.
Yes.
3 ash spindles. The first one, as I was taking it down, it shattered because it had a knot running right through the center from one side right through to the other.
Yep.
And as soon as I hit the knot, it just parted.
Okay.
So that was like, oh, damn. So the second one I put on, and I thought, right, well, I'll round this one down, and this will be the one I use tonight. So I rounded it down with a spindle roughing gouge. No problems. And I thought, well, I'll just round off the ends, with the skew. Oh, that was my second mistake, picking a skew up.
Oh.
I got a catch and snapped that one in half.
Yeah.
That flew off the lathe. And then I was sitting there looking at the third one, and that's kind of when I thought, do you know what? I really don't think this is a good idea. So that's sitting down there on the lathe at the moment.
Yeah. Well, at least you had a practice, and yeah. No,
I'll do it Monday. I'll do it next week instead. I'll be in a better mood.
This is why I was getting high. Right here.
What is it?
The backer board for this.
Oh, hang on. Let me put you on the full screen.
All right.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Nice.
So that's the backer board for it. I got a little more sanding to do, and then once I secure it and get the edges trimmed up, then I'll put some clear coat over top of it.
Yep.
And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll let the clear coat go inside of these big holes, kind of fill it in, almost like an epoxy.
Yeah.
So it makes it pop a little better. But that's what I did today is I painted these backboards.
Oh, yeah.
Now my shop stinks.
So I've been familiarizing myself with the manual from that scroll saw that I was talking about the other day, and it's a 16-inch and it's a variable speed.
Right.
I don't really know much more than that at the moment. I'm still having a read of it and trying to familiarize myself with the wording and goings on,
Right. Well, check out Steve Good on Scroll Saw Workshop Blogspot. He's got a lot of good videos, beginner videos, and he's got a catalog that's never ending of free patterns.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna try and find somewhere that has free ones. Thanks for that, and then have a go at maybe making my own once I get the gist of how they're made and stuff.
Yeah, this one here, I had help with the cut or the flare in the C-130, the Angel Flight part, but I did all the lettering and stuff like that.
How come you
I'd
needed
still
help?
like to go and do something a little bit better, more detailed on the Angel Flight, but it's all practice.
What does that come down to? Is there just practice, or is there a certain blade that's better for it, or something? Or?
Well, this one I tried 2 different ones. I tried on this side. If you put me back up, if you don't mind, I know it's your show.
No, go for it. I don't
But on this side, if you see how how thick the openings are.
Yep.
On the flares. Well, that I used a spiral blade on it, and I'm not all that great with it. But on this side here, you see how small the lines are. I probably could have turned the blade around and went back up through them, made them a little bit wider. But that was just a flat blade.
What's the spiral blade? Is that like just a completely different blade, or?
Yeah, spiral blades are like spiral blades are kind of like a candy cane. How the colors spiral up, and it's got teeth all the way around it. Versus flat blades, they're smooth on one side, and they got the teeth on the other, like a coping saw or a hacksaw blade.
Yep. Yeah, that's what the blade reminded me. Actually, when I looked at it, was a mini hacksaw blade.
Yeah. And does yours come with the option of using pin blades or pinless blades?
I think it had pins in it.
All right, because like my Craftsman that I have that's down south from me, it could take either one. You can either put the pins in, the pinning blades, which it came with, or you can get the flat blades where it doesn't have the pin.
I'll have a look at that.
The flat blades, you can get into doing it with smaller blades, smaller holes too. Quit. Sit down.
Yeah.
Jay, there's also a Facebook group that's run by Dale and JP called Team Scroll Saw.
Okay.
Yeah, there's all sorts of.
You have to answer 3 questions to get into the group.
Yeah.
There's loads of free patterns on there as well.
Oh.
I can invite you to some of the ones I'm in too.
All right, cool. Cheers. I reckon about the end of January, I should be able to get one.
Right.
What's going on there, Robbo?
Answer me these questions 3. What?
I seek the Holy Grail.
What? I forget the second one.
What is your name?
Oh, what is your name? And then what is your favorite color?
Blue. No, purple.
Bank details. Red. Always red. Robbo, are you there? Check.
Eric the Robo.
He's got a headset, so he might not have his headset on. That's all right. He might be making a tea or something. No biggie.
Oh hell, Dark's in the room.
Dark's in the chat, yeah.
How you going, Dark?
Did you guys see his video today?
Yeah, I saw it.
That was actually really cool. I think I'm going to have to do that.
All right, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Howdy.
Hey, Doc.
How are you?
Oh, been busy.
Yeah.
My dog wants to go play in the rain, but I don't want to have to give him another bath. He's too big. He fills it.
I'll just leave him out in the rain till he's clean again, eh?
Oh, no, we got a muddy yard. And he likes stomping around in mud. And what's worse, if you don't catch him when he comes in, the first thing he runs to is jump on my bed. So I keep a plastic sheet on top of it during the day in the bad weather. Because invariably, that's where he'll be around 1 o'clock or so, nudging me to move over because he wants more room. He's got a bed near a heater, but he prefers to be next to me, has for a couple of years. So, how you doing there, Mark?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Getting more sleep?
Nah. Sleeps are losers.
But the body needs it.
When I get to the point that I need it, it'll let me have it, I suppose. I haven't reached that point yet. Dark. Send me an email.
Now that's a new way of mounting with a hammer.
Pole dancing lessons. I ain't cheap. Get that way.
Yeah, that's how I do it, Dr. Bob. Because the nut is a bit crap on the on this, and it just slides back. So instead of thrashing out the tailstock nut lug and everything, I just hit it with a hammer and turn the tailstock down the other end there, and it pushes it down.
Okay.
Kind of like a Japanese plane. Japanese hand plane, to be exact. That's what I was after.
That was a learning skill for me. You know, all Americans seem to know everything there is. I don't know how that seems to be. At least we think we do.
Right.
I remember when I picked up my brother's, I bought him a plane, and I couldn't believe what it cost, but it was a birthday. And it was like $100 and some, but that's what he wanted. And when he opened it up, wanted to put the blade and all in and adjust it, and there was a little tapping hammer that came with the plane. And I asked him what it was for, and he told me to go back to woodworking school.
Yep, you tap the toe to push the blade one way, and you tap the heel to get it to go the other way.
Yep. Just like his lathe.
Yep.
Well, it was probably made in China, so.
Right.
Well, Sarge, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Just laying back there relaxing, I see.
Yeah. The house inside's chaotic, so I decided to come out here. Good chaotic, but it's chaotic.
Oh. I got the kids home. And the, quote, adults are out.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I got one up in his bedroom, laying in his bunk bed with his laptop, dreaming
fresh
about
coffee.
what he's going to get for Christmas.
Right.
The other one's laying in his bedroom with a big 72-inch TV that's the size of a double bed in width, playing on the Xbox that he's got already.
So that could be at work for all I know.
So it's
I just I sent Robbo a message, and so I don't know what he's maybe he's helping his wife with something or something.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Hello, Amber. How are you?
Oh, now you're gonna talk.
Hello, Dark, you sexy devil.
You won't
you.
talk to us, but you gotta wait until Amber shows up. Then you start talking, Robo.
No, well, I've been standing there for 10 minutes. I couldn't get a word in edgeways, so.
I've been
All you
asking.
gotta do is
I've been
cough.
last 10 minutes.
So, Robo, that's your red lathe?
No, I had to go and close the. Yeah, that's my small
I'll be
demo
back.
lathe. Now, as I said before, hello, Dark, you sexy devil,
Oh.
you.
Oh boy,
Oh,
what
don't
have you
encourage
been
him.
smoking?
Bravo, don't encourage him.
You're being possible now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Dark, that takes a great deal of. It takes a great deal of talent to turn something like that, to get it exactly
To
square.
turn dark. I think you've already done that, Robbo.
Yeah. Bob came in. Oh, no, it was just Dark that came in. Oh, Dr. Bob, sorry. Yeah, good day, Dr. Bob. How are you?
Good. Got the kids all tucked away, playing their games online.
Oh, well, that's good. No, sorry, I had to disappear for a little while. My lovely grandchildren opened up all the bloody windows on the motorhome, and I couldn't get out in the heavy rain. And of course, now it's wet inside.
You ready?
Who's making that noise?
Whoops, sorry.
Not me. I didn't have
Blair,
mine
Yeah, no.
muted.
I was randomly going around muting mics to see who it was.
it was Blair. Blair did it. It was Blair. Blair's fault.
All right.
It's that
Thank you.
Utah monkey.
You know what? You can sit like that. Bugger it. Brady Bunch style. Dr. Bob, if you're saying something, you've got your microphone muted.
Ah, sorry, I just had a team of people go tromping through the room. And I understand now. I know why the kids gave me this headphone set, because the mic switch doesn't work. I probably deserve it because it's one that I bought for them.
Let's do this. All right. Ready? Can we see him?
Oh, look at that. A microwave in his shop. And I bet it's not for drying wood.
Come on, get your body out of the way, Blair.
A baby lathe. The big one had a baby.
You're muted, Blair.
Our lip reading's bad.
Sorry, that's the same one that Dark has. It's a Harbor Freight Central Machinery Special.
It's nice to be not far off from what I've got, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, I'm muting again.
Oh, I've got a microwave, toilet, TV, kettle, of course, out in the workshop. Every workshop should have that.
Yeah, I've got a coffee machine.
What's it got in it? Odds.
At the moment, it's got dust in it.
I'm not sure what that tastes like. What's that flavour like? Is it interesting?
It adds a certain flavour to your coffee, that's for sure.
Depends what you've been sanding lately.
I
But it's Irish coffee. So.
I think if you're a wood turner or a woodworker, you get used to having dust and stuff in your cups of tea.
Yep. Right, come on, Jay. Start
You
turning.
just have to be. You just have to be different, don't you,
I'm
Doc?
waiting for Robbo.
And
Robbo,
I said you just have to be different, don't you, Doc? And have a bloody riker in there.
Rice maker after.
Robbo said he was going to. Robbo said he was going to show me a cut today, and I'm waiting for that.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Well, if you want to see it, I'm ready whenever you are.
All right. I said that about 20 minutes ago, but all right.
Yeah, no, I was probably out and about. All right.
All right.
Now I've got my little gouge, all right, so you can see how it moves. Now,
All right.
Jesus.
what you're aiming for, Jay, is now see where it's cutting? Down there. Right there.
Yeah.
What you
Yes.
and I have to move the camera around a little bit. Bit awkward because I've only got the one camera. But see how it's even off top. What you tend to do is you start the cut like that and then start it and get that little crown up in there. So you've got to have it fiddly flat and you just roll it over. Okay?
All
So
right.
you don't get that little hook up in the top there.
Yes.
So when you're ready, give that a try. But that's where I got you to start, right from that end.
Yep.
So you can start getting the idea. Right.
Now, can I ask a question, please? Where you've got that other banjo sitting behind your lathe,
Yeah. Yeah.
is that a wire or a cord or something wrapped around it?
Yes, that's all the camera cords and everything. I've got them tucked up out of the way because I found when I throw the chisels in, wait on, I'll drop the camera down a bit.
It just looks like it's really close to the work.
When I chuck the chisels in there, if they're lying, no, it's not. It's 6 inches away from it. But I put the leads down there like that, chuck the chisels through it. I've been known to cut one, and that's exciting. So I just put them up on beam. This was a temporary setup just to get them out, just to get it to show you. Like normally they're all down the back and out of the way.
Robbo, can I just give Jay a tip following on from what you've just shown him?
Yep. Yep,
It was
go
something
for it.
that somebody told me. when you start the cut and you've got the flute of your tool just past 12 o'clock, yeah? And when you finish the cut, you've got the flute of your tool pointing at 3 o'clock at the end of the cut. What you've got to try and do is the distance you travel from the start to the finish, you want to end at 3 o'clock. So you don't want to hit 3 o'clock before you get to the end of the cut. Does that make sense?
Now, wait on this.
Because if you hit 3
Roger.
o'clock too soon, that's when you start to shorten off and square up the end instead of making it round.
Just bear with me a second. I'll get the text to colour for a minute.
So you basically have to judge the time of the roll for the full length of the cut.
Right. I sort of don't go by clocks on the flutes because I found a little while ago that Americans sharpen their chisels completely different, and they actually roll the edge back on. They roll it back over the top of the flute, particularly on their bowl gouges.
It's almost like
I'm
a European. It's almost like a European spindle roughing gouge, isn't it? They take the flutes back.
No. No, I'm not talking about the angle back here. It's where they come in over the top here. Excuse me, dirty fingernails, I've been working this morning. Oh, and it cuts completely different. That's a traditional spindle gouge like that, like a U shape.
Yeah.
Now just hold on a second. Cut that Jay is trying to make. Now I hope this shows up in the camera properly. I'll just zoom it in a bit. We'll see. Right. Now to make this cut here, you've got to have the flute perfectly open. See how it's completely open? That's round there's shut. That's open. So you start with the flute completely open. Like that. Now there, it is about 45 degrees. As you come down here, it gets closed further and further and further. So you get that curve. But you've got to bring the handle around at the same time. It's as I said, it's like Beethoven's symphony. There's 3 movements in it. So by the time you get round to here, that's overcooking. The handle is 30 to 40 degrees away from the timber. It's not in a... Hold on, I'll see if I can get this camera around a bit further here. So by the time you get down to there, the handle is right out like this to maintain bevel support the whole way down the cut.
Yeah.
So with a smaller gouge, you start off flat on its back like that, starting the cut. And you can see the handle come right out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to have the flute closed at 3 o'clock at the end of the cut. You don't want to be getting to that point before you've travelled
the flute
full distance. Yeah, that like that.
Yeah.
You have to be at the end of
so
the cut.
Flute,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where it gets confusing. Like, to me, that is 12 o'clock on the flute. Because I use the edges. So 3 o'clock
All right.
is down
I was
about
talking
there
about the
somewhere.
trough.
So,
Yeah, I was talking about the trough.
yeah.
'Cause to me, that's 12 o'clock.
No, I work.
Now put it at the end, like you finished.
I find. Yeah.
So that, for me, that would be 3 o'clock. Because the flute is pointing at 3 o'clock. The trough of the flute.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I see what you're saying, Mark. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're using it as a vertical thing out of the flute.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that, and then you're rotating around the clock like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just use the flute itself and say flute completely open, 45, and then around to completely shut.
Yeah. That actually makes more sense. Yeah.
So you end up with a nice flat surface here. What Jay's on Jay, and this is quite common with a lot of bowl turners, because they get taught to use the flute straight in. Then they start doing the curve like that. They get that little.
They get that flat.
They get this little hook bit up in the top here. So
Yeah.
because they've got to start the cut first instead of starting the cut straight on the edge, which is great if you want to do an OG. If you want to do an OG like that, yeah, that's the way you do it. But what Jay has to do is come straight in to get the roundness in the centre part of the jigger.
Yeah.
That's enough of me.
No, that was great. Now it's explained a lot of things that I've had that has been confusing over the years because of the different people talking about different parts of what is a flute and what type of gouge. You know, it's different on a different type of gouges. Like the one you were using. I was taught it was called a continental gouge because those effing Americans couldn't use the tools that were made in Ireland. But that was my great grandfather.
Well,
He had
a
nothing.
continental gouge is completely different. That is the shape of a continental gouge. See how it's even? The steel thickness is even all the way around it, whereas
Yes.
a traditional gouge, the traditional gouges that were forged are thicker in the bottom than they are up on the edges here. And then, of course, with the round ones now, you're really in trouble. But that's a traditional gouge. A German gouge is, again, it's very, very thick down the bottom, but it's still a forged thing. And the man,
So, Robbo,
because I keep the Yep.
so every time I go to speak, my whole system, I don't know why.
Sorry, what's that?
Internet and everything.
Sounds like he's having technical difficulties with his internet.
Oh, yeah.
At least that's what I interpreted. That's
I think you're right.
Well, I must admit ours is a bit lousy today, too.
just wait for another. What do you got? A day and a half before Christmas out there?
No, Friday, we still got 3 days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, hello. He's gone again.
Yeah, he tried to do use less bandwidth, or at least that's what he thought, by just going straight through YouTube on StreamYard instead of YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and whatever else he's
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, because that all heats up some. Not supposed to on StreamYard because it's all cloud based.
Yeah. And it uses a hell of a lot of bandwidth too, actually.
I guess Blair stepped out too. I missed him.
Suppose if you think about what StreamYard actually does, the processing it has to use to do what it does, it's not surprising it uses a lot of bandwidth.
Oh, that's dead
All
right.
the signals go to a server separately, and then the server sends back the composite to everybody individually.
Yeah,
That's why it takes up less bandwidth than a bunch of other ones out there. All the processing is done on their servers.
It's not the upload that it's not the upload to the StreamYard, it's the download that really kills it.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah,
suck your thumb, Mark.
yeah. Thinking.
I'll be worried if you retreat to the corner and get in the fetal position and start crying.
Yeah. No, that was yesterday.
Oh, right.
You turn
Yeah,
anything
my corner's
today?
reserved over. My corner's reserved over there.
Yeah. Try sit and rock. Sorry, Bob, were you asking
No,
me?
Yeah. Did you turn anything today, Mark?
I tried. Wasn't in a mood for it. Lost me temper with it, so I stopped.
Yeah, that can be a problem. I know you can feel like you're unsafe, but that's when I decide to make whatever I'm trying to do. If it's important, I take it out and just put a piece of dumb wood in and make shavings.
Yeah.
And not making anything in particular, just trying to make an ugly branch round and see how thin I can do it. And then if I can get it down so it looks decent, then I'll try to make it into a finial. But I'm never that successful because I keep trying and trying. I've made a few, but it does calm me down because at that point you start pulling out the small tools.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Jay's back.
yeah, good day, Jay.
I got a
How's it going
exciting
now?
notice today. I got a notice from the VA that I'm listed in their priority vaccination list. I'll be
Oh,
notified sometime after Christmas.
So you're on the top of the hit list, huh?
Yep, right after they have their staffers in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the top 300 iffies if you're going to live this year.
How does it seem now, Jay?
picture's better.
Yeah. And I think the other problem is, of course, he's pulling wireless through a metal shed, and that can't help any. nothing like a metal shield to block a signal. I wish I could send him a piece of cat cable to plug it directly in and run it out the door and plug his laptop into it.
I can see Amber in the background there.
Jay, Blair's backstage when you're ready. There he is.
Would you have to go get warmed up, Blair?
No,
That's
I-
Amber in the background, not me. I'm out and I'm trying to prop up my stupid Wi-Fi adapter away from any bits of metal or anything the little prissy little things getting tripped up.
You've improved the picture, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can see Amber in the background.
That was a good live earlier as well, Blair, by the way.
Oh, thank you much. I appreciate you being my earworm.
It's all right, anytime. It's nice and relaxed.
I like those.
Yeah, laid back.
Robbo, are you there?
Yeah.
Melted corners.
Sorry, what was that?
Melted corners. Do I start off?
What's got melted? Oh, right. Yeah. All right. Look, if you give me a couple of, just the corners off and face it off on the tailstock end first, and I'll
Why
get
am I taking the
I'll get a
corners off
chuck
if
and
I want
everything, and I'll show you.
If I want the corners to melt down, why am I taking the corners off?
Well, you've got to get them a little bit rounded. You can't leave them square like that. Well, I suppose
Really
you can if you want to.
I really wish I'd taken a picture of that one at the exhibition.
Right. Just wait a second. I'll chuck
Yeah, you're
up
right.
a piece of wood, and I'll show you. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, face that one off on the tailstock end to get it square, straight across.
What was that? Sorry.
Face up the one you've got there.
Yeah.
So get your tenon and everything on it. All right.
All right.
while it's quiet, the reason that I came back in, I stopped doing what I was doing because these pen kits are crap. I don't like them. I'm not going to turn them. I'm going to take them back. Go get something else.
Cool.
Of course, being warm is also a positive.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the upside.
Heck, it was 65 degrees out here today.
Yeah, I think it was like in the high 50s here.
At 84?
Yeah, I wish it was that warm here.
Maybe it's just the warm before the storm. I don't know if it's supposed to snow next couple days or what.
Right. I know if we were in Okinawa and it got like calm and quiet and all you saw was grasshoppers all over the place, we were fixing to get hit with a typhoon or something out there.
Oh, same type.
Yeah.
The small bugs, when they start making noises, you know there's something coming.
Yep.
And it isn't the BC. It was never that because they didn't care. But when the humidity or the air pressure changed, the jungle changed in sounds.
Just read your comment, Mark. That's funny.
Yeah, it's right, guy. I always feel better after I've been in one of these.
Yeah. My daughter asked me, she goes, "Why aren't you on another video, another live? Isn't he doing a live tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, he's doing a live, but I need peace and quiet." Hey, like my clamps?
Bit to your left.
What was that?
I said, "You like my clamps?" Concrete waste.
Hey, if it works.
Oh, yeah.
Delicious.
Mark, your name's Skewlicious?
Hang on.
Sir Knight.
Sir Gouger-Lot.
Right. But it's Sir Knight. It makes you a knight of the round log.
I'm actually a yeoman of the realm.
Which means
A yeoman is a medieval archer.
sorry, you dropped out, Mark. What was that?
A yeoman is a medieval a yeoman is a medieval archer. Bowman.
An archer.
Bowman, yeah.
That'd
I
be
am
longbow.
Yeah, I have shot longbow.
Crossbow too.
No, not crossbow. It's not archery. I was ranked number 2 in the world.
Wow.
I won the silver medal at the World Championships in 2005. Shot for Great Britain, shot internationally, shot for England.
Do you still go shoot?
No. No, I retired 10 years ago.
Not even for fun?
I can't now. I can't lift the bow up with my left arm. No, I retired when my kids were born. Because I was almost full time. I used to shoot probably 20, 25 hours a week. Just practice. Then 2-day competitions every weekend.
It sounds like me when I was ballroom dancing. We did about 20 to 30 hours practice a week.
Yeah.
You do your own fletching?
Oh yeah. Okay. Any self-respecting archer, he always prepares his own kit.
The only thing I ever got involved in archery was really cheating, but it was crossbow. I inherited one and then I got addicted.
Crossbows.
Rightio.
Not only did I used to do my own fletching, Bob, I used to go even further. I used to do something they called grain matching. So I used to grain match my arrows. So I'd have a dozen arrows, and they were grain matched to within 1 grain in weight. That's a grain. A grain is 1/100th of an ounce.
Right, I know.
So my arrows were matched sets. It used to take me upwards of about 25, 30 hours to match a set of arrows. And I never had less than 4 dozen arrows in my box.
Sorry, Robbo,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Next step.
Yep.
Just put me on the screen. Like you've got to round down these corners a little bit, okay? Like this.
Yep.
So it's underneath the actual ball section. All right.
If my internet would not give me a slideshow, it would look perfect.
Hey, don't worry, Jay. I think it's everybody's.
Sorry, what's that?
Oh, it's just a slideshow at the moment. It's not even a video.
Oh, right. Right, well, wait, I'll just switch it off and you can get a better idea. See how I pull back the sides
Oh yeah.
up?
Yep.
Okay. That's to
Yep.
give clearance to the bottom.
Yeah. I was going to say I only want the corners to melt down like not even half of the height of the piece of wood anyway.
Yeah, no. Right out, away you go. Yeah, just take that little lip off the edge. It's got a little flat spot on one corner.
Did you say something then?
Yeah, you've got a flat spot on one corner.
Yeah.
You've got to take that right off. Yeah, you're not going to have much of a droop.
No, that's what I said. I didn't want heaps of a droop, just a little bit of a boop off the side, you know.
All right, okay. Rightio. Now you've got to get the centre bit out like this.
With the parting tool again.
No. Oh, well, yeah, you can part until if you like. I'll do it with a gouge brush. So you've got to come right out to the corner. I'm just going to have to move the camera back a bit. All right, let's have a look at that.
How you going, Chris?
Up like that. Wait, I'll move the camera around again. See how you've got the cutouts there?
Yes.
Rightio. That's why you have to do it with a gouge. If you do it with a parting tool, you're going to snap these corners off.
I might as well be snapping them off anyway, but oh well, you get that.
G'day, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
And start forming your bowl shape from just outside your tenon hub. Oh, I know, Dark. It's a cross I have to bear.
Mark, you ever hear of the SCA?
Sorry, what was that, Dr. Bob?
I was asking Mark if you'd ever heard of the SCA, Society for Creative Anachronists.
No?
No, I know it's very popular here, Canada. We get people from all over the world, our members. But it's a historic recreational program, and you can pick your period of history that you want to kind of live in, and you have the clothing that matches it, the garb, and it's role playing, pure role playing, and it's been listed. It's basically medieval, European medieval time. The Japanese take it back probably another 100 years before that, because we got a lot of Japanese Oriental members. Uh, 2 years ago, I went to the big meeting we have in the States. And you live in period tents, period clothing, period food, a period that you want to be in, but you've also got those that are idiots that carry it one way too far, but it's still all good fun. There's jousting.
All right.
So,
Like people who do recreations.
yeah, it's all recreationists, because that's where I got involved in crossbow with all period crossbows. And that was probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And then I got involved in trebuchets and helped build one, and they're fun.
Yeah, I like trebuchets.
To see just how far you can throw something, and it's judged the way they were judged as best as researchers have been able to come up with it in competition. and it's based on old English competitions as to what you could throw at how many stone and where the word stone came from, because it was a weight of the stone that one person could lift, and all sorts of crazy stuff. But it was fun doing it and help building stuff like that.
I agree with you, Steve. I reckon that the Dark's probably good at been role playing. I bet he was a doctor a lot of the times and other things. Superman, the Masked Invader. Nothing to do with medieval times, though, I'll bet.
Yeah, I like that card.
I bet he even did a policeman once or twice too.
Policemen, I thought they were called bobbies. That's why they're always men.
They aren't anymore.
It's-
They're not always men anymore.
Oh, I know. But originally, that's I understood where they got their nickname from.
Dark, I've just sent you 2 pictures. But
You were more like the Tarzan type, were you, Dark? I could just see you swinging off the chandeliers and round.
No, he was more like King Kong.
Well, King Kong would be appropriate.
Well, we could make our
Right,
own.
how you going there, Joe?
You can make a new storyline up for Dark, King Kong in Africa.
No, the Grand Rapids Raider, I reckon Dark was.
There you go, Robbo.
Yeah, all right. Oh, shit. Wait a second. Probably a bit scratchy on the moment because yeah, all right. You're getting the idea.
You completely cut
It
out with that.
requires
Anything before you're getting the idea, you cut out.
yeah, it requires very sharp chisels and a very gentle touch.
Yeah. And this is shitty pine too, so it's already chipped out on the corner.
Yeah, right. What we're after is just the idea, all right?
Yeah.
Don't even bother sanding that or anything else. Turn it around. Turn it around and put it in your chuck now, all right?
Yeah. I was going to put some polish on it, but that's after. I'll do that later.
Yeah, all right.
You know me, can't help myself. I still got to see what the grain looks like.
Is there? And we're throwing things around the backyard, is she?
Hey? What was that?
Is Amber throwing things around the backyard?
No. She put a piece of wood down and it rolled against it.
Is Amber throwing things?
The lag is terrible.
Yeah, I know.
I told my internet provider that if they don't pull, I didn't say it exactly like this. I said if they don't pull their heads out of their asses, then I'm going to go to the telecommunication ombudsman. That normally puts the shits up them when they do something.
Yeah, but you're running your laptop inside your shop, aren't you?
No, I've got a desktop PC, and I've got it's because it may be because of my Wi-Fi, but I'm buying an Ethernet cable in 2 days. It's going to cost me $90, but I don't have any choice.
Well, I'm actually running off an Ethernet cable.
Yep. Well, I should be getting in on the Ethernet. I'll get a 100 megasecond download, and with Wi-Fi, I'm only getting about 30 or 40 downloads, so megasecond. It's a slight difference there.
That'll be better then.
Yeah. I can get one from the local hardware store for a 50 or 60 meter one for $90.
But do you need one that long? No, if you have extra kind of loop it back and forth behind the couch or something. But don't
Sorry?
spoil it. If you have extra cable, kind of lay it behind a couch, loop it the length back and forth.
Yeah.
Slack its way.
Yeah, let it slither, not coil.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have most of that out in the shed, the excess, because I'm getting another 3 meter shed to connect onto this one, so I'm gonna need the extra out here anyway.
It's always better to have more than you need.
Yeah, I'm gonna nail it to my roof, like neatly tucked behind the curtains and stuff going along, because it's completely at the opposite end of my house, my cable modem, so, and I can't move it.
Yeah, just remember, if you're going to nail it up, you make sure you have the special fittings to do it. Insulated. You don't want to squeeze it. You don't want to crush the cable because that'll cut down your speed.
Yep. No, I won't do that. I've got oversized U-nails.
They got those insulated material inside the staples.
No idea.
That shouldn't matter. The cable should be pretty insulated.
Right.
If you want to pinch it in place, get a little bit of tape and wrap around it at the point where you're gonna anchor it, and let the tape be the cushion so you don't pinch the insulation.
I'll get some plastic clips if the metal's going to interfere with it.
Well, it's not necessarily the metal. It's just you don't want to squeeze the wires, the internal conductors, because the insulation in there is specified for thickness.
Yep, it'll be a standard. I think is it Cat 9, the blue one.
You can't. That's the best out there now.
Yep. What were you going to say, Jamison?
No, I was going to say that Steve and Don are starting to get into Dungeons and Dragons now. If they're wrong.
That's a dangerous
I reckon you're a level 1, Jay.
Level 1, eh? Hmm.
Yeah.
Don't get too many perks at level 1.
But you did what you were wearing.
You know what the funny thing is, right? When all the shavings gather on this T-shirt, none of them gather on him. They always gather around him. So it's easy to find, Wally.
No, they reckon Jay is level 1 of the dungeon. Jay in his bright yellow thong reading children's stories to Joe Biden.
Don't put me in that category. How rude. It was all fine until you put that name at the end.
All right, now screen again, Jay, and I'll show you the next step. All right.
Jawohl. Burn rubber.
Now I don't normally work at arm's length, but I do, so you can see what I'm doing. Now, the object, I know you wanted a projecting bowl at the top, but you haven't left enough there to do it anyway.
No.
So what you've got to do is match that curve there, all right? So you've got to match that curve there first.
Yep.
Like that. And then you can start taking out the centre. This is awkward. I can't even see the centre of it.
No. I can't even see your tool moving, to be honest.
All right.
Yeah. I can look at that. It went from a hard piece of wood to a hollowed out piece of wood in milliseconds.
Right. So that's what you're aiming for. Now you can make these thinner if you want to. Like,
yeah. Wow.
That's very clever.
I'm not really too sure if I'm going to go too much on the curve on the top piece, though, because this wood's pretty brittle, and I reckon the corners will just explode on me. So I'll knock a bit of the corner off on the top, but I'm not going to go as curved as what you have.
That's what you're after, wasn't it? When you were talking about that droopy bowl. Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, if he's got another piece, he can turn one just like that tomorrow night by himself, and we can see.
No, I haven't. This is my last piece, unfortunately.
No, I'm going to show off a bit here. This is the way I normally hollow out. I'll just move the camera back a bit so I get a bit of room there. And take the tails off. Not used to working on such a short bed of lath.
Yeah, it's the elbow knocker.
Nice one, Doc.
Don't know why people spend hours doing it.
Yep. All right, you done show off?
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to be able to master it at that speed?
20, 30 years. No, not quite that long. Probably about 4 or 5 years, but I was still practicing, you know.
Oh, yeah. I like that picture, Mark. Thanks.
It's all right. That was 15 and 16 years ago.
Unfortunately, Mark, I can't open it up in mine. It takes too long with the StreamYard running. No, you've got to make sure you go right through, Jay. Don't leave a little step. Once you start the cut, make the cut right through or you'll snap them when you're trying to pick it up. Yeah, what happened with that one?
That's where all the splits come from. All the radial splits kind of end up on that corner.
Oh, yeah. Right,
Like,
yeah.
see all the splits there?
Yeah.
So it just happened to be one there. There's even another one behind it.
All right, cup of tea time.
Oh, Dark. Where your head goes. Wow.
I can guarantee you I've heard every Men in Tights joke going.
Well, I'm not going to show Dark my cycling days from when I used to ride competitive bikes because I used to wear pantyhose.
I did that in eighth
Stop the
grade
bugs from
football.
sticking to your legs.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that
Done that too,
stopped the bugs from sticking to your legs.
See, that's an image I really didn't need.
Yeah, and I did it in Iraq too to keep the mosquitoes, not the mosquitoes, but the ticks and stuff. They had sand fleas out there.
Yep.
We did too during NAM. I remember one of the people at the base exchange, and I thought it was crazy, but they told me I had better pick them up while I was in Bangkok because once I got in country, the base exchanges didn't carry many of them because there wasn't that many women that were able to wear them.
There you go. I've just sent Dark a picture. They'll send him over the edge.
Oh, no.
No, Dark, That is never going to happen,
Is-
I'm afraid.
Is this a picture I'm not meant to see, Mark? Or what?
Oh, I've just sent it to you as well then.
Now, Jay, when you put this up, you're going to have to disable the chat, all right?
What was that?
Hey, I
When you
like
put
your
when you
score.
put this up on the when you put it up onto YouTube, you're going to have to disable the chat.
Very impressive, Mark.
Ted Nugent, yeah, I've heard said.
Oh, what's under
As an
there?
archer.
What's under there? Sorry, that's a really rude question, but what's under it?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, never.
Oh, free balling.
The kilts were long before they did anything for under. I mean, you think the Romans went around and they hadn't been invented yet?
I have
They
a
were
kilt in the
invented
room.
I've got
I have
three
a kilt in
kilts
the
and half
Robertson
Scots.
tartan.
My grandmother was a Malcolm, so I've got the Malcolm tartan.
Oh, yeah. No, ours is a Robertson tartan.
This corner here, it's parting ways with the rest of the wood.
Yeah, all right. Oh, well, just hollow it out of that, Joe.
Like, see this here?
Yeah.
super glue.
Yeah.
And then
They're getting wider. I don't have any super glue, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, just hollow it out now.
I don't think glue would hold that, to be honest.
No, I don't think it's really worth.
No.
Even the $1.50 that I spend on glue.
Yeah.
And to do this sort of thing, you've got to have good quality timber. That's the only thing. And it's got to be cut exactly right.
No, I've got my tartan. I got Elliot and I got a Robertson also on the other side of my mother's side of the family.
Oh, don't tell me we're related, Bob.
Oh, I guess so. I got the genealogy, but it doesn't show any Aussies in it. But there are parts of families
You don't want to
that
be written.
disappeared.
You really don't want any of my family in it. They're all black sheep.
Yeah, that's what I've been told too about the Robertson side.
Yep.
They were highwaymen. But
that
they
wouldn't surprise me.
whiskey.
Thieves. They made what?
We're good at making whiskey. But that was any alcohol.
I'm a teetotaler, so. No, well, I know my great-great-great-grandfather was disowned by the family in Glasgow, and he had to drop the Mac from his name, and he was sent to New Zealand. Well, he was sent to Australia, but he ended up in New Zealand. after about 3 or 4 years, they kicked him out of there too. And he ended
We
up in
might just
Australia.
be related because I've heard that story too from my years and years ago from my grandfather. Because he even had pages in the family Bible that his father purposely cut out of the Bible as far as genealogy went. But when he passed away, my great grandmother gave my grandfather those pages, and he had put them back in the Bible as part of genealogy because she didn't think people should be torn out of history. But the only thing that I remember is that they were sent off to Australia because that's where the gangsters, crooks, and con men went. Hucksters also. But that comes from my great grandmother on the Roberts side of the family.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say goodnight, guys. Supper's 3 here.
All right,
Yeah,
Mark.
good night,
Well,
Mark.
you can
Sleep well
now.
if you can.
I'm gonna try and get some sleep.
Thanks for coming
That's all
in.
right. Thanks for having me. Been a pleasure.
Good night, Mark.
Take it easy.
Good night, everybody.
Mark, I got a quickie for you. Do you
Go on in.
fold and bleach your own kilt?
Yes,
So you do it the right way.
my grandmother. Yeah, my grandmother taught me how to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still have mine that way.
All right, guys.
Ready-made stuff. Yeah, nice.
See you later. Cheers,
Take
guys.
it easy.
Bye,
Cheers.
everyone in the chat.
You know, Jay, even for pine, that grain is still pretty cool.
Sorry, what was that?
I said,
I
you
don't
know, for
know.
pine, that grain is still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's got some weird black stuff going through it.
Joy has entered. Welcome, Joy. If you'd like to join this motley crew here, you're more than welcome. I'll send you the link.
Howdy, Joy.
G'day, Joy.
Hey, Joy, join.
How you going, Joy?
No, don't talk to Dark Joy. He's been a very naughty boy.
He's in the naughty corner.
Yeah, he's on the dark side of the world and on the dark side of the comments.
We found out all his fetishes today.
Come on, Joy. We'll cheer you up.
No, you're probably right there, Steve. We probably didn't learn all of them. I'm sure he's got a few dark secrets in the cupboard yet.
Sorry, Joy. I haven't got my time machine.
There's many times I wish I had one of them, I'll tell you. I wouldn't change much, but I'd change a few things once forewarned of them, that's for sure.
Well, we're down to people from 2 continents now online. We just lost the 3rd continent.
Yeah.
This has become quite a continental night.
Hey, Joy. I thought that's supposed to happen tomorrow night, not tonight.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, there's a special
the
star conjunction thing that's going on. Like, hasn't happened since like 1,200 and whatever.
Yeah.
It's happening tonight, Blair. I seen it outside just with the naked eye. And I've seen a lot of people on Facebook showing the 2 lights, and later on they're showing it as 1.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What are you on about?
The Bethlehem star,
Oh,
where Jupiter and Saturn are lined up and they make a very bright star.
yeah. Almost we forget about it. I'll just see it on Facebook or something, I suppose, like everyone else, you know.
Right?
Right.
Or YouTube. Good morning.
Speaking of seeing things, a few years ago I was working at the Ready Mix here in town, and we had that solar eclipse in the middle of the day, and my wife, she got a hold of a welder's helmet, and you should have seen her. She looked funny, but she was able to see it.
Yep. Must be the
probably
best thing
couldn't
to
say anything else for a month later.
Right.
Yeah, white cardboard's all I needed. That way you could look at the reflection of it.
Yeah.
So there was
She looked like Darth Vader with a ponytail.
Unfortunately, Steve, even the welding helmets really aren't dark enough to look at the sun.
No. And I told her that. I was like, they're not made to look at the sun and don't look very, very long.
Yeah.
So she took her camera, held the hood up to the sun, took her camera through the lens and took a picture. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have to compliment you, Robo. Watching him turn, he's learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
The finesse of which he handles the tool. It's not
Oh,
like
that
a
only
steam-
comes with spending hours beyond. It only comes from spending hours behind the chisel, I tell you.
But if it wasn't for you, who says distance learning doesn't work in skills like this? I've heard so many people argue against it over the years of my life. It takes patience and knowing your skill that you're going to be teaching.
Oh, well. I'd like to give things back.
But in another life, long
Isn't that called paying it forward?
Yeah, that seems to be the latest in phrase for it, I suppose, at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I remember in the 70s when I was working with distance learning and they wanted to do it for surgery. And just to have doctors sit and argue and scream at each other across conference tables that it can't be done, period. And then they started. And when they could actually see and do it with video and between two different hospitals only at 4 miles apart, that was the first experiments done on it in Denver. And afterwards, and they were doing it with mannequins, but they were both surgeons, and then they actually had an emergency happen that was tied into the video network that we were put together for distance medicine. And we actually had a woman who was some 200 miles away, but still at the farthest level of where we had a video. Never dreamed that we'd ever use it that far. It was for fire alert and training and the fire network. Had, in the medical term, is a cardiac tamponade. That's where the sac around the heart starts filling with blood. And you got to take it out. Otherwise, the heart can't beat. And it's done with a long needle. And there was a doctor in Denver a fireman who was a smoke jumper and fireman for forest fires, talked him through how to do it. And it worked. by the time they got a helicopter in, which was about 2 hours later, the the woman was still alive, and the paramedics that came to rescue her had no idea of what the procedure was. They were just sent to go get a woman and bring her back to a hospital. And afterwards, everybody just looked at each other and said, "We did it and it works." Distance learning does work, and we've proven it, but that was in like 76, 77.
Well, I've performed 2 tracheometries in my life. One was on a grader driver in Tasmania who went through the windscreen, crushed his throat and thorax and everything. And I did it via a flying doctor service who were flying out to get a patient. A stockman had been kicked in the throat by a horse, and they called the flying doctor service. Of course, they couldn't get out there in time, so they explained the procedure to me over the radio.
What'd you use? A ballpoint pen?
Yep, that was the only thing we had.
Yep, that's what they. Yep. But people insisted, the medical profession insisted stuff like that could not be done. And I don't think it was protectionism that caused it. I thought it was everybody's, they were scared that the person at the other end couldn't do it. And the liability of me teaching or talking you through it, then I become liable if you screw it up. And they were always worried about insurance. But when it came down to the fact that that happened, there wasn't a second question asked.
Well, in Australia, no person can be charged with any offence if he renders first aid and it goes wrong.
Yeah, they got that here. It's called the Good Samaritan Law.
Yep.
That's it.
But that in 72 or in the early 70s, that was dependent upon states. And that's when first aid was
American
civil defense from holdover of World War II.
Well, America's known for litigation, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Well, I remember when the EMT Act was passed by the emergency medical technician, when it was passed by California, it was signed like at 1 minute after 12 in California, which was the first state. The Idaho governor and the Oregon governor on a conference call with California signed them second and third. So they were less than seconds apart from each other. But the three states had worked so hard to put emergency medical technicians and the training for it to have it actually be a recognized state license. And there it was basically advanced first aid, except the smoke jumpers in California, they carried it farther, but that took another year or two. Now I had EMT license in Idaho number 4.
It's just your legs. It doesn't count as your second. It's just your legs. It's just your genitals.
All signed the same night.
These are funny.
So, Dark, being a stir isn't a recent acquisition that you've obtained, is it? It's gone on for a few years.
It's not gonna hurt. Male is dominant, so female have to take male blessing.
No, it's not. They have to. It's just traditional. The male can take female last name, or they or.
Robo, you're going to have to explain
You know,
yourself.
Jay, I reckon you got. Sorry, what was that?
Said you're going to have to explain yourself. Dark doesn't understand.
Oh, talking about I threw it up as a joke and took it off, and it took off like a rocket. So it's been a practical joker for a number of years. It's just not a recent acquisition.
Jay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that wood is gorgeous.
That is awesome. Well, you can polish a turd, Jay.
Yeah, I've said that before, and I'll agree with you. Yes.
Did you have any buggies come out in that one?
No, I'd never do in pine.
My wife still trips out about seeing that bug coming out of that.
What was that, Robbo?
Oh, that's good, Dark. I've been a bit of a joker in my life too. I reckon you got too much shellac in that.
Yeah. What's that?
That's why it's going so dark.
Okay. Oh, Dark, did you hear that? He's using your name in vain now. Yeah, no, I'll agree with you there, Robbo. I did experiment and add a little bit extra shellac than I would normally add. So, yes. Sprung.
Yeah, that's why that red gum went so black.
Yep.
Yeah, don't forget the edge.
Well, Dark, that is my ambition, actually.
Nice.
That's my ambition, actually.
Now, Jay, the varnish and stuff that you used, or the lacquer, is it food grade or decorative?
Just decorative, really. It's just a spray on gloss or just this polish that I make.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you could eat out of that bowl or if it was just something you throw knickknacks in.
Oh, you most probably could eat out of it. Just be quick about it.
But then again, they say that if you let the varnish and the lacquer sit long enough, the VOCs go away, and then it becomes safe to be able to put food stuff in.
Yeah, I heard you have to let
This
it
is the whole
like
point.
30 days.
99% of finishes food safe when cured.
Yeah, it's always a topic of argument or discussion on woodworking stuff.
No. And to be perfectly honest, it shits me up a tree.
Yeah, I bet.
Just take Robbo's advice
you can't
and bugger everyone else.
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Jay.
I said I'll take Robbo's advice and bugger everyone else.
Sorry, Robo, I didn't mean to put a thorn in your side.
It's all right, Jamie. Look, no, as I say, like people say, oh, cutting board, you know?
Yeah.
You should use this or you should use that. What a load of crap. I've never known anybody to cut slices out of a cutting board and eat it.
And the argument of food safe. That's the argument there when you read the standards of the definition of food safe. Don't really have a lot to do with wooden bowls or wooden cutting boards or anything.
No, it doesn't.
It's for storage.
But
Is it food safe for storage? Let's fill that full of candy. How many weeks are you going to leave the candy without eating it in the bowl?
Well, it depends on how many kids you got running around.
Yeah, it's not going to be weeks.
Bullshit.
Nothing's going to, as long as it's dry, you're not going to have it affecting your.
It depends if I'm around.
Like I said, how many kids are around?
No, unfortunately, Dark, I do not have one with lacquer, and I know there's one with boiled linseed oil, shellac, and metho, but I don't know of one with lacquer, but oh well. I can't, but no, as far as bowls of sweets go, then for around me either, yeah.
Yeah, because if you read the FDA, our Food and Drug Administration's definition of food safe, it's about 20 pages, but it doesn't make sense for a lot of wooden stuff. It's basically talk about storage.
No. Now, just what you're getting confused with, I think, Dark, is sanding sealer and a finish. Now, you can use sanding sealer as a finish, but a lot of sanding sealers are just thinned down lacquer. They're the cellulose sanding sealers. Well, the lacquers we use dry on a good day in about 25 seconds. In fact, you can spray one side, and by the time you put the gun down and turned around, you do the other side. But it does take 24 hours to cure properly. Now remember, Jay, work towards the headstock. That shirt, Jay, when you move to the side, it looks like Waldo's walking down the lathe bed.
Yeah.
Get on the top of him at the moment. When you had the tailstock off, his feet just about lined up perfectly with the lathe bed. But I must admit, the poor bugger's, I think the poor bugger's put on a bit of weight since I last saw him.
He's reading between the lines now.
Yeah, I can see that coming.
So
you're not changing the speed, are you, Jay? Sorry, what's that?
What's the weather like now there?
Cold, actually. And it was raining. When it first came on, I showed them it was a torrential downpour. So I'll find out what the temperature is, won't I? It's not
no,
very
Robbo,
warm.
I didn't change the Speed. I don't know what you're on about. You must be seeing things.
Yeah, it's only 17 degrees Celsius here at the moment.
All right, Steve, have a good night. Thanks for dropping in.
Yep.
Catch you later, Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
Steve.
night, Steve.
That's what we got.
Beautiful.
So it's actually dropping in temperature at the
Yeah, you're a
moment. It
bit
was
warm.
back 4 or something when I last looked.
Hey, Google, what's the temperature in Sandy?
The current temperature in Sandy is 31 degrees.
You like that potting tool, don't you, Mark? Joe?
It's a damn sight skinnier than the one I've got, that's for sure. What was that groaning for?
No, a cough.
Oh,
All my tools dark are sharpened at 45 degrees. Now, except for a couple of gouges where I'll wait until Jay's finished. Yeah, all my gouges are basically sharpened at 45 degrees, down like that angle. But there is a detail gouge. I'll just see if I can find it. Wait on, yeah, here it is. This one here is sharpened at 30 or 60, depending on which way you measure it, but it's raked right back up the sides here, and that's used for hollowing out like the insides of boxes and things like that. Unfortunately, people don't, and it's a little bit not too pointy, but if you try rolling beads or coves with that, it just wants to bite in. So that's why I'd prefer a more traditional grind with that, with the thing, or even better, where did I put it? Over here. I like what's called a thumbnail grind, which is the part down on your thumb here. That's really good for doing beads and coves, but people have misconstrued these detail gouges for getting down into fine places, but if you learn to use a skew, you don't need this for that. So a skew can get into a lot more places than that gouge can.
So what's the difference between that and an Irish grind?
Now you're talking about bowl gouges. Bowl gouges right, wait on. Right. Now there's a lot of confusion about the grinds on them too. That is an Irish grind, like that, where it's swept back, but the cutting edge hasn't been rolled over into the flute. Now, what a lot of people do is they do this with them. Just wait a second, I'll get one out. Now this is an Ellsworth grind. Notice it's very here, very steep, and it's got a long grind up the flute. But see how the cutting edge is actually rolled inside. It's rolled into, so I'll see if I can get it on the edge, right on the end. It's actually rolled right into the flute. So to cut, you've got to get it right over on one side in order for it to cut. And David Ellsworth will tell you himself that this was made more as a shear scraping tool than anything else. Yes, it works. It does work well in bowls and things like that. Now the traditional grind on a bowl gouge is basically that. It's about 35 to 40 degrees there, very steep angle, and it's ground straight across like a spindle roughing gouge. And that's a traditional English grind. You Yanks call it a bottom feeder because you invented it about 15 years ago. Just that the English have been using that grind on spindle gouges for probably the last 80 or 90 years. So that's basically the shape. But everybody misconstrues the Irish grind, quick back grind is just like that. It only just comes back that far. Or the proper name for it is the Liam O'Neill grind.
Okay, understood.
But the reason that I came up with 45 degrees on all my tools was a very simple reason. I'll move the camera back a bit so you can actually see. So you've got your tool rest set there, and for the tool to cut properly, it has to sit on your hip down here. Now don't you go getting too excited, Dark, because I'm going to wiggle here. With the tool sitting down there and sitting on the rest, the cutting edge comes in just above the thing, but see where the bevel is down here? You might not see it on this, but that's the correct cutting angle. You see a lot of people that turn with them tools right up here, and actually the tools are actually scraping instead of cutting. The old laws of turning used to be 45 degrees down that, 45 degrees at an angle across on the timber, and the flute at 45 degrees. And that's your optimum cutting angle on everything. It's just a comfortable way to stand at the lathe all day.
Klondike has entered. Welcome, Klondike.
Yeah, good day, Lewis. How are you?
How you going? Welcome, Lewis. Welcome to the Robbo Show.
Yeah. No, well, the gouges have their uses. Like, it's much easier to do a cove with a gouge than it is with a skew chisel. Oh, any fitter would be dangerous, Lewis. Oh, it's gone quiet.
Crickets.
You're unmuted, Bob.
Sorry, I just had a herd of teenagers wander by. I didn't think you'd want to hear their complaints.
The other bloke in the corner there, Klondike, is Blair.
Yeah, that's interesting. What happened to our names? Usually they're like down right there.
Jay couldn't see a lot of what was going on, so he dropped the names out.
Oh.
And of course, then you can't tell whether your microphone did it or not either.
True. Hey, Lewis.
He's being sneaky.
He's like that.
Lurking.
That's kind of a cool little vest thing you got going on there, Jay, or Sarge.
That's his work harness, I think. No, it's his tool belt. His advanced tool belt.
Work apron.
Yeah, it's where he keeps his tea towels and laundry detergent and stuff like that, you know.
I wonder if you can hear it.
He's on full screen.
You may not hear us.
Hey, Sarge, can you hear us or not? No, he's ignoring us.
Woohoo!
He's ignoring us. Whoa! Hey, waggy.
How you going? Hey, you still with us, are you?
No, you're muted.
I'm waiting on a phone call from my sister.
Blair was
After
asking
Dark's
about
comment there.
Yeah.
Just wait a second. Dark said, Sarge just emailed. Mr. Robbo said your wood turning skills make his nipples hard. I have to agree, but I don't believe it. Take your apron off. Take your apron off so I can have a look. I think it's the cold weather, not me.
I think Dark's looking a little too hard, I think.
All right, Jay, flash it. Let's see what it is.
All right, we'll put some wood porn on, all right? There you go. There's your wood porn.
That still is pretty cool. It makes a nice little ashtray.
A nut bowl.
Yeah, it's a nut that turned it.
Nice. Put your
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, let's see. I knew Robbo would agree with it. Yeah. I might put the cat biscuits in a fancy cat biscuit bowl, you know. And then if anyone asks, I won't tell them it was a practice piece. I'll say, I don't know, $50. I've got a.
Funnily enough,
just sell it for $90. That'll pay for your Cat 6 cable. Well, it's a Cat 6, so make it a cat ball.
Yes.
the funny thing is that a lot of people do go for stuff with bloody cut marks in it and bloody tear out and everything else.
Yep. It's because they don't know what they're looking at.
No, they call it distress.
I don't know. Yeah. All it does as far as it distresses me, that's all.
Actually, Dark, that's pretty cool. I want to see you do that. I've actually been making some of those, but I'm curious to see what and how you do yours.
I made the walls thinner, Robbo.
Sorry, what's that?
I said I made the walls thinner.
Yeah.
I did 8mm ones yesterday, and I don't know what that would be.
Well, now
Need to get a thickness gauge.
now you're starting to get a bit of style into them. They're not chunky, clunky blocks of wood with a dent in them.
A dent? You New Zealander? You dent?
Yeah.
That's the second time you've sounded like a
Well, that's my definition.
I was going to say something naughty, but I remembered that we're live, so I won't. Just our definition of what we call a New Zealander, you know?
And you what?
What we call a New Zealander.
Yeah, well, I don't mind. I can't be insulted anyway.
Oh, okay.
I've had experts trying.
All right. So sheep rooters all right then?
Sorry?
So the sheep rooter, New Zealander.
No. Yeah, no. I prefer them without wool on.
Come on, Blair, what's wrong, mate? You shaking your head there?
Oh, I just got other stuff going through my head.
Well, they wear woolly condoms, at least, you know.
Uh-oh. Somebody just came home.
Look out, the boss is home. You're in trouble now.
Yeah, I don't think it's the boss.
No.
I think my daughter came home.
All right, I'm gonna knock it on the head now.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had my 2.5 hours of frivolity and made them for the afternoon. So thank you,
That's
gentlemen,
it.
for coming in, and anybody else on the side.
All right, thanks for your help, Robbo.
No sweat, Joe.
All right, nice work. See you guys tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Eva. Bye, Eva.